But thank you so much for taking the time with us here today. I want to get your immediate reaction to Disney, which is hitting all-time highs after hours on this report.
It's been a hot company for a while, ever since really April of 2020. Of course, the big factor has been whether or not they'll be reopening Disney World, Disneyland in the United States and globally, and I think that's inevitable. So we're seeing that in the numbers along with what you just reported. The revenue's up, the EPS not being as bad as they thought, better than expected, their subscriber list up. So all of this is helping the stock, and we're on new all-time highs. So to me, as a trader, I always look at what's next. Where do we think it's going, and where is there a possible buy opportunity? Because chasing is tough. So I'm looking at right now, if it can settle somewhere between 190 and 195, which is where it's trading in the after hours, that might give you a good place as a base. And it looks to me like it could go up to about 210, just based on some measurement that I'm seeing in the chart. So that would be my first goal.
Okay, and so immediately I think about what lies ahead as you bring that up. And in 2021, we do know that some of their competitors on the production side, they've already announced what their plans are, taking some of the big titles that were set to go usually to box offices and movie theaters. They're going to take them straight to streaming. And so with that in mind, what do you expect from Disney and their ability to recognize revenue as titles that typically would have gone into theaters are likely just going to go directly into their own streaming environments that they've been able to power forward?
Well, no doubt there's tremendous competition within the streaming space. And I think that's impacting Netflix as well, as we saw great revenues there, as even much better than Disney's, and now the stock has gotten a little bit more sober. So with Disney, you're going to have the same situation. I really believe that Disney probably would make the most sense to stick with what they're really famous for, which is animation for children. That is still a huge audience, and I don't think that would be going away anytime soon. And certainly for parents, even when they're home or still going out, it's a great opportunity to get your kids entertained for a couple hours as you've all been home.
It's a tale of two cities, if you will, in this broader Disney world, as you've got the streaming side of the business that, you know, has never been hotter, but you've got the parks and experiences side of the business, which has perhaps never been colder. And so Disney Parks, Experiences, Products revenue for the quarter, it decreased 53% to $3.6 billion. A large portion is directly tied to COVID response from the local areas that they do operate within. And so what would you expect for Disney to say on its earnings call about what it sees as the outlook and when they could potentially see the reopenings as they are corresponding with some of the local governors that are ensuring that their capacity within these states that Disney operates are still doing so safely when they do reopen?
Well, if I were the CEO of Disney and I wanted to talk to my shareholders, I would assure them that the optimism that we're seeing globally and in the United States about the vaccine rollout, bringing businesses more and more open, and that at some point, probably by the summer of 2021, the parks will start reopening, that it's just another growth area. That would be another reason to be extremely bullish in the stock. So unless there's some unforeseen thing happening with the virus that we can't control, which at this point seems to be very highly unlikely, I would come from it like everybody else that's been talking, Yellen, et cetera, optimism. Things are going to come back to normal at some point. Or maybe not exactly normal, but the new normal.
Michelle Snyder, who is the partner and director of trading research and education for MarketGauge.com, joining us today. Thanks so much for the time, Michelle. We appreciate it. Everyone, we've got